Hello and welcome. You are watching In Your Interest here on News9 Live. I am Krishnakumar. First up, a quick check of all our headlines. India stock markets post their third consecutive weekly loss, marking the longest losing streak of the year 2024, despite a late surge on Friday that helped reduce the week's decline. The benchmark indices, Sensex and Nifty, falling anywhere between 0.2 to 0.4% over the week. Financial stocks, however, standing out with ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank leading the rally, boosting the Nifty Bank Index by 2%. However, the broader market remains subdued as many key stocks struggle. Reserve Bank of India's Governor Shaktikanta Das during the India Credit Forum says that cutting interest rates in coming Monetary Policy Committee meeting scheduled for December would be risky and premature as the country's growth remains steady with inflation expected to moderate. Recently, the central bank's rate-setting panel decided to keep the repo rate unchanged at 6.5%. Kotak Mahindra Bank announces the acquisition of Standard Chartered Bank India's personal loan book. The loan book is set to the tune of over 4,100 crore rupees and the acquisition will be completed within 3 months. The proposed transaction consists of loans classified as standard loans as per the RBI guidelines. Food delivery aggregator Zomato will be holding its board meeting on Tuesday, the 22nd of October, to consider a fundraising proposal through an institutional share sale or a qualified institutional placement or QIP. Reports say the company is likely to approve a fundraise worth 8,500 crore rupees through its board meeting. After the fundraising, the company will apply to the Reserve Bank of India to cap its foreign institutional investment holding at 49%. Bollywood actor Tamanna Bhatia questioned by the Enforcement Directorate in Guwahati over alleged links to a digital platform named HPZ Token, which is accused of defrauding investors by promising lucrative returns through cryptocurrency mining. HPZ Token has been at the center of a larger investigation involving money laundering and financial misconduct, as the platform allegedly promised investors significant profits from Bitcoin and other crypto investments but failed to deliver on these promises. You are watching In Your Interest, and the big story we're taking up first on In Your Interest is the air quality, particularly in India's national capital Delhi and the national capital region. It is that time of the year in India's capital Delhi and the surrounding areas when the air gets thicker and harder to breathe. The city's air quality index, or AQI, took another dip on Friday morning, nearing the very poor mark with readings at various monitoring stations hovering around 300. The overall AQI in Delhi was recorded at 293, even worse than the previous day's 285. So what's being done to tackle this? Well, you may have heard of the Graded Response Action Plan, or GRAP or GRAP, a key strategy aimed at controlling air pollution, especially during the winter months when things tend to get worse. It's a 4-tiered plan that kicks in depending on how bad the air quality gets. Right now, GRAP 1 is in place, meaning steps like water sprinkling on roads and anti-dust measures are being enforced. But with air quality likely to fall into the very poor category by the 20th of October, more aggressive measures needed to be rolled out soon. Now, if you live in Noida or Gurugram, you're not much better off. Noida's AQI was recorded at 242 and Gurugram's wasn't far behind at 178. Health experts are already advising people in these areas to avoid outdoor activities, especially those involving heavy exercises like jogging or running. If you have to step out, make sure you're wearing an N95 mask to reduce your exposure to the harmful air. That's the advice. Delhi's Environment Minister Gopal Rai is taking action to combat the rising pollution levels, especially in pollution hotspots of Delhi like Anand Vihar. He's also ramping up the city's anti-dust campaign and has directed officials to focus on the problem areas. Chief Minister of Delhi, Atishi, is also on high alert, and she's been holding meetings to ensure that the city is fully prepared to tackle the worsening air quality as winter approaches. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court of India has come down hard on the states of Punjab and Haryana for failing to curb stubble burning, the major contributor to Delhi's winter air pollution. The court called out these states for ignoring directives and has summoned Haryana's Chief Secretary to appear on the 23rd of October to address the issue. In contrast, other major cities in India like Mumbai, Bengaluru and Hyderabad are enjoying much cleaner air with AQI levels well below the 100 mark. So what's going to happen to Delhi NCR? Are we set for another winter of extreme discontent and breathlessness? That's the big question we're asking, and to answer that we have a couple of special guests joining us. We have Dr. Rajesh Chawla, Senior Consultant, Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine, Indraprastha Apollo Hospital, joining us. Thank you, Dr. Chawla, for taking time out to be with us here on In Your Interest. Talk to us, what can the people do? Looks like, there's not enough measures in place to save the people. Are there anything that people can start doing at this point in time to deal with the air quality over the next 2 to 3 months?
Come October, every year we talk about pollution, and very little is done throughout the year. And that's why every year we expect the pollution will rise. As you know, the stubble burning is still going on, and as it increases, the pollutants in the air are going to be even higher, and they will impact everyone. The problem with the air pollution is that, it is not immediately you get effect. You are getting effect over the years. Like you smoke, you don't get an effect on your health immediately. It is over the years you get the effect on your health. Similarly, persons staying in Delhi and around, every day now in October, November, we smoke almost 10 cigarettes per day. That is the level of, as you were saying, the level of AQI is now around 300, and it is going to rise. I think everyone knows about the ill effects of this. The air pollution can cause immediate effect like irritation in the eyes. You can get cough or irritation in the lung because of the nitrogen dioxide and sulfur dioxide. You feel irritation in the eyes. And then people who are suffering from respiratory illness, they can get an acute attack of asthma, or people who is an asthmatic, similarly who's got a COPD and other illnesses. These days are very bad for them. Already we are having more patients attending our OPDs with all these problems. The general public, what they can do is, at least keep their car in a proper condition. If your cars are not in proper conditions and you are exhausting the pollutants into the air, you are also contributing in addition to all others. That's number one. Do not burn, the leaves or anything outside. I think now, and the crackers are banned. Do not please play crackers in the coming days because Diwali is very near, and you have to teach your children not to do these. These are very small things. And on a personal level, as you've already told, if you want to go for a morning walk, it is better to wear a mask, and the best would be to wear an N95. But then if you're wearing an N95, it becomes very difficult to do exercise. Maximum you can walk on the road for some time, and it is better to avoid and keep on seeing the AQI when it is above 300. It's better not to go outside. That's the minimum you can do. And if you're not carrying a mask and there is pollution, you can use a wet hanky in front of your eyes to prevent that, and keep the window panes of your car closed during this period. Do not venture out if it is not very necessary. Go for parties, and do not organize open air functions, because this is also the time when people organize function outside. Do not organize all these function outside. If you're very keen, Diwali functions, everything should be done inside if you are staying in Delhi and around area. So these are very small few things which you can do to not only to prevent the contribution to the air pollution, also to prevent yourself from the ill effect of pollution. If you're a patient, talk to the doctor what you should do if there is increase in problem. So these are very small things one can do to prevent, not only to contribute, also to prevent the effect on your health.
So wait, you're saying that we should draw the line when the air quality index hits 300. So is it okay if I interpret it in this way when you say the fact that anything less than 300, say in Noida it's 242, is it okay then for people in Noida to go for morning walks and exercises in the open?
No, it is, I mean, 300, absolutely no. You know,
Okay.
the best would be, like you were saying, around 100, which
Okay.
is, we rarely see in Delhi. It's around 100 plus minus 30, 40 most of the time in the year. So even that is also bad. That is, if it is 300, you should not do at all. But if it is less, maybe around 150, then you may go during that period. But I think in next 2 months, you are not going to have the pollution level around the 150 or 100. It's going to rise. And you know, not only it affects health, the visibility. Driving a scooter becomes a difficult as the air pollutant and the AQI, air quality index, rises. And as the winter sets in, then the problem is going to be even more.
Okay. The only question I have to ask is that, are there do you think there can be any medication that can be taken as preventive, especially for people with, say, asthma and other breathing issues, and even for the general public, apart from not venturing it out and keeping it indoors, because this is the time of the year when most people go for their purchases of air purifiers as well. How much of an impact does an air purifier have if you have it in your home? Talk to us about that, and what else the public can do in terms of preventive medication if need be.
You see, as far as let me go back. See, as far as air purifier is concerned, air purifier, it will be only effective. It of course is effective, takes away all the particles, fungi and the insects and the pollens more than 90% in the room where you have installed. And it is very good for patients if you're an asthmatic, COPD, interstitial lung disease, or any respiratory ailment, or there are small kids, then I would recommend that you should have this. But otherwise, most of the time, if you're working outside, it's hardly going to help those individuals. But people who are staying indoor or they're sick patients, probably they should have. And I don't think that every person should have a air purifier at their home installed, because it's going to help only that period. That also, if all the windows, everything is closed, only then the efficacy will be there. But I would not recommend that everyone should follow this and buy this air purifier and to have at their home. What was your first question?
Any preventive medication that we can take?
Yeah, there is no preventive medications.
Okay.
For a person who is suffering from respiratory ailment, they should talk to the doctor that if I get increase in symptoms, what should I do? And they should have their supply of inhalers and other things ready at home. That's number one. But there is no medication, but you can follow a healthy lifestyle, not only during the air pollution period, all throughout the year, like sleep at a proper time, take good amount of water, do some inside exercise, eat properly, do not take junk food. All these things,
Fair enough.
sleep at least 6-7 hours, because increasing immunity will also help in fighting any ailment, in fact.
And steam inhalation, how about that?
Steam inhalation, like if you come home, what you should do gargles, and you should rinse your mouth, you should clean your mouth, and you clean your face, and then probably if you're going to lift up the kids and everybody, then probably remove your clothes and wear the normal home clothes before you pick up the kids. These small things can make very subtle difference and will have an impact on the long-term basis.
All right, we will leave it at that. Dr. Rajesh Chawla, Senior Consultant Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine at Indraprastha Apollo Hospital. Thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on In Your Interest. And with that, we take a very short breather here on In Your Interest. We'll be back with lots more on the other side. Keep watching News 9 Live.
Let yourself flow with the turn of each tide.
Salty winds, you sweeten your ride.
Maharashtra,
Maharashtra, it's a hit.
Maharashtra tourism.
This is News9 Live, India's only digital exclusive live stream. For the early adopters, bringing you the news 24/7. For the smart audiences on the smartest TVs. News9 Live. Stream now on your smart TVs.
I'm Payal Nath, the CEO and director of Kadam Heart. We're working with people, we're working with emotions, we're working with hands, we're working with nature.
We are very clear, we want to commit to livelihoods, we want to commit to the planet, we want to impact 1 million artisans, which is 1 million families minimum.
Be the change that you want to see.
This and more. Streaming on News9 plus news is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए, और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है Money9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
You are watching In Your Interest, and now the big focus on the show is on something that we all are trying to let go of, and that is sugar. It's impossible to scroll through social media these days without seeing posts telling us to ditch sugar, get fit and live a healthier life. Influencers are sharing tips on how to kick sugar for good. Moms are discussing strategies for cutting it out of their kids' diets, and fitness enthusiasts are participating in hashtag sugar-free challenges. For adults, too much sugar can lead to obesity, heart issues, diabetes and more. Now think about kids, because their bodies are even more vulnerable. Talking specifically about India, which has been described as the diabetes capital of the world, it is facing a crisis. According to the Indian Council of Medical Research, or ICMR, India has over 100 million people suffering from diabetes, while a staggering 136 million individuals are pre-diabetic. It is in this context that FMCG major Nestlé's recent announcement to remove refined sugar from its baby food line, Cerelac, is so important. This shift to no refined sugar variants is a direct nod to becoming more health conscious. For young children especially, cutting refined sugar early could be key in reducing risks like childhood obesity and early diabetes onset. Nestlé confirmed that 7 of the 14 sugar-free versions will be available in Indian stores by the end of the month of November, with the remaining 7 set to be introduced in the coming weeks. Earlier this year, concerns were raised over Nestlé's baby formula Cerelac after a report by Public Eye, a Swiss investigative organization, revealed that all Cerelac baby products sold in India, among other developing economies, contained added sugar. In Europe, a relatively developed market, the company did not add sugar to its baby nutrition products. It was a clear case of a bias for specific regions. After the controversy erupted, Nestlé claimed it had cut the amount of sugar it adds to its infant cereal range in India by up to 30% over the past 5 years. Later, the company also said that Cerelac was in compliance with standards set by India's food safety regulator. Remember, out of 15 Cerelac products sold in India, lab analysis have revealed that each serving of cereal contained more than 2.7 grams of added sugar. However, that was not the case with the same Cerelac being sold in higher income countries. In fact, in developed countries, Nestle promotes its products with the no sugar added claim. It was because of this reason Swiss giant Nestle was accused of double standards and not following World Health Organization guidelines in poorer countries. Talking about sugar intake for children, the WHO, the World Health Organization, says that salt and sugars should not be added to complementary foods at all. With Nestle launching no refined sugar versions of its Cerelac baby food, the baby food market is the first to catch on in this war on sugar trend. But this move does spark a big question, a larger question. Will companies making packaged foods, packaged juices, snacks, and other sugary products for children and adults follow suit? As parents and people in general become more aware of sugar's risks, it seems likely that we will see similar changes in other food categories aimed at kids and adults alike. And to talk about it more, we have a very special guest joining us. We have Dr. Shikha Nehru Sharma, founder One Health, now joining us. Dr. Shikha Nehru Sharma, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on this edition of In Your Interest. Talk to us in our interest, in your interest, and on the interest of everybody watching. We all need to drastically reduce the amount of sugar that we're consuming. But the problem is in this packaged goods. I mean, Cerelac is a great starting point. Baby foods which have sugar, where no reason to have sugar. From there on to adults, so many packaged goods that are being sold in India by global FMCG giants have so much sugar.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, if you really see why these FMCG giants add sugar, is for three reasons. The first is that it increases the weight of the product without corresponding cost. So the more the product has sugar, it's cheaper for them because the weight goes up in terms of the milligrams without the real ingredient cost being added. So that is one reason why a lot of sugar is added to products. Second is, of course, palatability. So when you create processed products, their natural flavor, their natural taste, everything goes away. So just to mask that lack of taste, a lot of sugar is added by these processed companies, a lot of salt is added, so that the taste is of sugar. And those are the two big reasons why most of these processed foods are harmful for health, whether for adults or children. And in children, it is particularly bad because high sugar products lead to GI disorders. That means more diarrhea, more rate of infection in the child, more fungal infection, intestinal infection. And that is why kids don't need added sugar.
Kids don't need added sugar for sure, and in that sense, it was shocking in the first case that Cerelac, Nestle would even put sugar into Cerelac that is sold in India. Cerelac that is consumed by all the length and breadth of the country, babies in the length and breadth of the country. Very shocking. And finally, look, they've come clean. Do you think this is a watershed moment from here on? I'm talking about other things which kids and adults consume, like breakfast cereals, like juices, like so many other things that come in the guise of healthy alternatives. It includes digestive biscuits and other stuff as well. This needs to be the starting point so that sugar can be cut down across the board.
You're absolutely right. This is a watershed moment because when a giant like Nestle decides to change its product range and remove sugar from it, it is the start of all other products, which you correctly mentioned, that maximum sugar goes into children's products. So all breakfast cereals, they are high sugar. All juices, they have high sugar. All desserts and things which are made for kids have higher sugar content. So this is a good start. This is a watershed moment. And from here, the journey, ideally, which I think would happen, is that more and more companies will have to reduce sugar or remove sugar from their baby care products, from their baby consumption products.
And hopefully one fine day, all the adults too can get packaged goods that have the right amount of sugar and possibly no sugar when there is no sugar needed in the first place. But with that, we have completely run out of time here on the show. Dr. Shikha Nehru Sharma, thank you so much for taking time out for being with us here on the show and weighing in on this very important subject. And with that, it's a wrap here from my side. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishnakumar signing off.
Cooking is an act of love. The first act of love you receive from our mothers in the families.
Modern Indian food is all about contemporary and innovative approach to traditional Indian cooking.
Representation it's also important, you know.
I want to wear this white coat every day and then be a chef.
There are stories. If we name a whiskey is Indri, then there is a whole story behind that.
Cooking food is like a therapy, and eating one is like a pleasure I can give it to myself. With Lounge Nights, I'm on a journey to celebrate and recognize the best food and nightlife establishments in various cities across India.
Radico presents Lounge Nights every Saturday and Sunday only on News9 Live. This is News9 Live, India's only digital exclusive live stream. For the early adopters, bringing you the news 24/7. For the smart audiences on the smartest TVs. News9 Live. Stream now on your smart TVs.
Why is the state not looking at putting an embargo on that?
As a Telangana person, I will not accept.
How do ordinary folks deal with this?
Who am I?
Nobody can crack that mystery.
There is a certain expectation of me.
That's the only contradiction.
Life itself is stranger than fiction.
I was a perfectly normal person born in an abnormal world.
I really didn't understand why is it different.
Just imagine a child who is bullied every day.
Boys school में कुछ लड़का लोग मेरे साथ sexual abuse किए.
मुझे तेरे बारे में सब पता है और मैं तेरा rape कर लूँगा.
You also start to stigmatize.
अरे ये तो time pass है.
Sex doesn't come in the picture. Sex comes later.
Then there are man-made narratives.
Why do you walk like that? Why do you sway so much? So you can understand the trauma of a person who's trapped in a wrong body.
But nothing can bind light.
We have to reclaim the lost position. We fought for more than 10 years.
Today I'm the mother of the industry.
I'm a first transgender member judge.
You can't walk in everybody's shoes.
This is what I'm comfortable with. They just are what they are.
You become the light yourself.
That is the change that I was looking for.
When I recognize myself, it's a small story, but it's an interesting one.
It's said that out of 7 diamonds across the world, 5 are cut and polished in India.
Don't forget, US is the largest consumer of, polished diamonds and the diamond jewelry. And that has taken a big beating for multiple reasons, but largely because of the consumer spending going down on these items. And that's essentially what has hit the diamond industry.
We are at a brim where you see not just one, but multiple very strong global brands coming out of India. And we will make a global market. I'm convinced about that.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre.
In 5G, we have to stand with the world, and in 6G, we have to lead the world.
Winning a Grammy was an absolutely surreal experience.
Hello and welcome to News9 Live. I'm Aditya Raj Kaul and this is The Diplomat. India and Ireland have had diplomatic ties for the last 75 years.